I've played nearly 300 hours of Death Stranding 2. I completed the story and almost got all the trophies. Here are my thoughts. Just to be clear, this isn't a review, it's just my experience with the game. Your experience may differ. I think it's important to talk about expectations when you talk about games. Certainly my expectations, because I do believe that it influences your experience when playing the game. My expectation for this game was more of the same, please. For me, those expectations were met. Let's talk about the story. The story is, as you can imagine, it's batshit crazy, it's off the reservation. It's sci-fi, it's ridiculous, but also wonderful. What I love with this is it is something completely new and something completely different. Even if it is off the reservation, it's new, it's fresh. Yes, it's a continuation of the first one. And, you know, we've got the great acting, we've got everything in. I'm not a massive fan of stories in open world games. I mean, stories in video games are really difficult to do, and certainly in open world games. This drip feeds it through quite nicely. The acting in this is pretty good, I have to admit, but I have to give a shout out to Troy Baker. He just steals every single scene he's involved in. He's tremendous. I'm not one to mention graphics or find that they're important. However, this is one of the best looking games on console. I'm currently playing it on PS5 Pro. The folks at Gorilla, the Decima engine's in there as well now. It runs smooth 60 frames per second. As already mentioned, I've played nearly 300 hours of this game, and the really important thing is I've had hardly a blip in frame rate. It's never crashed, it's never bugged out on me, and that, in this current day and age, is phenomenal. Yeah, other people may have problems, I haven't, and I think that that's absolutely tremendous, and they should be applauded for actually making a solid game. I also think it's worth mentioning that I'm applauding somebody for making a solid game, which it shows you how low the bar is, that I am applauding somebody for actually making a game that works out the box. While on this subject, I've got to mention load times. Modern day load times, as we all know, are tremendously quick, and it goes without saying, but this one it's the same. But the one thing that this game has always done is it has these little cutscenes for when he jumps out of a truck, or gets into bed, or gets into the shower. They can all be skipped. Even the movies, everything can be skipped. Even these little bits where he jumps out of the shower, it's all skippable. Every single bit. When he sits up in bed, it's skippable, which is tremendous. Which shows you that they're not there to hide load times either, which is great. The gameplay is pretty identical to the first game. We are in different locations, Mexico and Australia. This game starts off where we left off from the old game. You get into it quite quickly, unlike the first game, where there seemed to be like a 3-hour hump. Everyone was saying if you could get past the first 3 or 4 hours, the game kind of opens up, it becomes a lot easier, you have a lot more variety. And the great thing is, that learning curve isn't here. You can pretty much have a vehicle or good weapons from within the first 20 minutes of the game. This does decrease the difficulty, but the game's there to be played how you want to play it. If you want to use a truck, use a truck. If you want to walk, you walk. You want to use weapons, you use weapons. Nobody's making you do anything. Furthermore, the freedom extends to the delivering of parcels, which is, to be honest, the majority of the game. You get to choose how you go to that location. I have a shopping list, undocumented shopping list. Something that's in my head that says, right, I need to build a bridge there. Oh, I think we need to build something there to fix things, the Timefall Centre. And there's all various different options you can pick from now, even more so than the first one. So I like to collect resources, and then I can basically make the path to my next waypoint easier. You can just go through it, walking through and tackle it however you want. But I like to prepare, and I have this kind of little list, and this happens in some of the best open world sandbox games where you want to upgrade yourself, upgrade your weapons, upgrade your items to actually make that next task easier. And that feeling is really rewarding because it gives you the feeling that you're doing your own thing. You're not being pushed down a route by the game itself. You're making the decisions, you're making where you go, and other people will do it differently. Everybody can have a slightly different experience. To help you with these deliveries, there's a lot more equipment that you can fabricate. There's a variety of new skeleton suits, weapons, grenades, boots, gloves, a lot more that you can add to customise your actual backpack, a lot more things that you can customise on your vehicles. And talking of vehicles, there's also the coffin board, which is kind of a hoverboard, as well as constructing safe houses, pillar boxes, bridges. There is also the new addition of a transponder, which is essentially a teleporter. The game is more combat focused than the first, and there is new BTs and standard enemies to tackle this time round. There's a few environmental changes with the game this time round: earthquakes, rivers overflowing, and now there's a big snowy mountain where there's lack of oxygen to worry about, snow drifts, and all in all, the environmental aspect of your travels does randomly change more than it did before, which opens up more headaches when you're trying to deliver those parcels. All quite positive so far, but what really does grind my gears with this game is some of the BT fights. They can knock you down, and because you're stuck in tar, you're desperately trying to get up, and then they pull off like their special eating move, and then bang, you're dead. You do respawn because that's the part of the game, but there's a void out and it has a big crater in the ground, and that just gets on my wick so much. Luckily, you can just save anywhere as well, so if you don't want the void outs and destroying the environment, you can always just reload a save. It's a nightmare because you're in tar, you're trying to get up, and it's like, you're not giving me a chance to move. I always like to reflect on what's missing from a game. My wish list. This game, it's blatantly a lack of vehicles. There's the tri-cruiser and the truck from the first game, and now the hoverboard. And to be honest, it's lacking. That's just the one thing I wish we had more of in this game. You see quite a few derelict cars and vehicles around the environment, and it'd be great if you could kind of like fix those up, drag them to, like a safe house, and then be able to do them more kind of Mad Max style. With that all said and done, I've really enjoyed my time with Death Stranding 2. It's very much an improvement on the first game, and I get the feeling that fan feedback has been addressed in this second game as well. Is it my game of the year? Let's just say it's in contention. One thing that seems to be clear to me with this game is it's definitely made with love and passion and detail. Whether you like the story, the content, Hideo Kojima, or how this game plays, the one thing to take away from it is this is the benchmark of how games should be made. So that's it for me. Be nice to know in the comments whether you liked it or hated it and why. And the last thing for me to do is say bye. Bye.